Hello everyone, I'm back. And before I get to my next random review, I've decided that I'm going to be changing my YouTube username to Review Girl. Why? Because I'm the girl who does reviews. So there you go. But now, let's get to my next random review, shall we? Now, this movie that I'm going to be talking about is a movie that I love. I watch it just so many times, I never get tired of it. What is this movie, you may ask? Well, it is none other than Turbo, a Power Rangers movie! Ha ha! Yeah, exactly. Now, the reason I love this movie is, well, because, well, I can't think of any reason why I like this movie. I mean, I have a million reasons why I love this movie. Well, actually less than a million. But still, I just love it just because I love it. I mean, seriously, it's Power Rangers. What can you say? Now, I bet you're all wondering why I'm not talking about the first Power Rangers movie. Well, trust me. I'll get to that movie when I get to it, trust me. But, well, you just never know when I'm going to be reviewing it. Ha 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 ha. But still, Turbo Power Rangers movie is a really great movie. Of course, there are many reasons why I think it's a great movie. Like, first of all, they don't use CGI Zords this time. Nope, instead they use model Zords, which is really good. Unlike the first Power Rangers movie where the Zords were CGI. Now, why did they decide to do that? Well, who the hey knows. But still, another good reason why I love this movie is that because it pretty much just set up the fact that they were going to make a new Power Rangers show. So instead of just, well, making a new Power Rangers show, like, for some reason they decided to set up the fact that they were going to make a new show by turning, I guess, what was going to be the pilot, I guess, or something like that, into a movie. And guess what? It worked. Of course, we do have to remember one thing, that the Rangers still had their Zeo powers at the time, which of course we all saw in that one scene where Kat, the Pink Ranger, morphed and she said Zeo Ranger went pink, so that pretty much so that scene, I guess, was there to remind us of the fact that the Power Rangers still had their Zeo powers at the time. But then of course, well, the Zeo powers probably wouldn't be enough to handle the new villains that we get introduced to, so ergo, the Turbo powers were created. And of course, well, it can't also be Power Rangers without bringing in a new Ranger or two. So in this movie we get Justin, who's a kid. Now, why decide to make the new Blue Ranger a kid? Who knows? But still, at least he got to be on the show, which is good. I mean, seriously, you can't just bring a new character, have him be the new Ranger, and then all of a sudden replace him with, well, the guy that he originally replaced, because it wouldn't make any sense. So, there you go. But still, in Turbo Power Rangers movie, we get two new villains. One remains through the show, and also shows up in Power Rangers in Space. The other one, well, he gets released in Power Rangers in Space as well, but just under a new name. And those two villains are Divatox and Malagor. Oh, excuse me. Now, pretty much Divatox's evil plan is to go to the Lost Island Maranthius so she can marry Malagor, and together they'll rule the universe. Oh yes, the whole rule the universe, or take over the universe, or take over the Earth plot. Why am I not surprised? I mean, seriously, why do we need these movies that just have the same where the villains have the same motivation every single time? I mean, yeah, there's some movies out there where the villain has a different kind of motivation. Like, trying to kill the good guy, or get the good guy in trouble, or trying to do harm to the good guy's family, or something like that. I mean, seriously. The villain just needs a pure motivation for doing his evil scheme for some reason. But still, with Divatox, her motivation for doing what she does in the movie is just so she can marry Malagor so they can rule the universe. That's pretty much it. But still, the Power Rangers get their new powers and stuff like that. And then of course there's also a thing in the movie where they have to rescue this wizard named Larigo, whose family gets kidnapped by Divatox, and eventually they have to rescue them. And then, of course, there's Bulk and Skull, and of course Lieutenant Stone, who got introduced in Zeo. And then, for some reason, I don't know why, they had to bring back Jason, the original Red Ranger, and Kimberly, the original Pink Ranger. Why? Well, who knows? But still, bringing back these two characters was actually pretty good, considering that Divatox was looking for two humans of purity and strength she could use to bring forth Malagor. But eventually it all goes downhill when Larigo and his family use their powers to make Kimberly and Jason good guys again. Yay! And of course, like I said, there are the Zords, who of course form the Turbo Megazord. Actually looks pretty cool. And there's of course this whole thing with a karate tournament where some of the Rangers that are competing and have to win in order to raise money for this shelter that Justin is in, because his mom died and his dad apparently had some problem with that, and so I guess for some reason because of that, Justin had to go to that shelter. I know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but at least there are some things in this movie that do make sense, thank God. Of course, not that anything in the first Power Ranger movie made sense. I mean, there were some things in that movie that did make sense. Well, at least, like, a few things that made sense. But in this movie, pretty much almost everything makes sense. Well, actually, I take that back. Everything in this movie makes perfect sense, thank God. And, of course, when they got to the series, they had to show some of the events of this movie so that way people can be reminded that this movie came before the show and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And of course, there's Zordon and Alpha 5 and yada 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 woohoo. But still, overall, this is a much better Power Rangers movie than the first one. The suits looked good, the Zords were not CGI, thank God, and everything about this movie was just flat out awesome. I mean awesome. But the bad thing is, well, there aren't going to be any more theatrical Power Rangers movies, which really sucks. I mean, seriously. What is wrong with these people? I mean, come on. Turbo Power Rangers movie is a much better movie than the first Power Rangers movie. Mainly because this movie, well, just had a whole lot of things that made sense to it. So there you go. But still, overall, Turbo Power Rangers movie is just really great, and I freaking love it. The characters were well written, the villains were awesome, the suits looked good, the Zords looked great, mainly because they weren't CGI, and just pretty much everything about this movie just was flat out awesome. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Turbo Power Rangers movie. I don't know what I'll be reviewing next, but just be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can immerse yourself in all the wonderful reviews that I have for you to watch. Ha 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 ha. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I don't know what I'll be reviewing next, but be sure to subscribe and also make sure to comment on which movies you guys want me to review. But like I said, no horror movies, no Star Trek. Please. None of that. I mean, seriously. Derek on YouTube does horror movies best, and SF Debris does really good Star Trek reviews. Well, unless you also count Confused Matthew's review of Star Trek Generations. But still, other than that, that guy Derek on YouTube and SF Debris on Blip, they do really good reviews. So there you go. But still, that's pretty much all from me for now. But just remember, I'm Ari the Review Girl, the girl who does reviews. Talk to you guys later. Bye.